This is Doug with the Practicing Accountant Podcast. Thank you for joining us today. We are going to be discussing today the pipeline crisis, the current situation in which the number of accountants coming into and staying in the profession is dwindling. Specifically, we'll talk about the new report from the National Pipeline Advisory Group and some of the key takeaways they had from all of the work that they've done over the last year. We hope you enjoy this episode. Been a long day. I'm not going to lie. You've had one too.
Yeah. Long day. Dog days of summer are upon us, I think.
It is upon us. I you know what? I hope you, and I hope anyone that watches this takes as much time as possible off next week and barbecues hot dogs, flies a kite, goes fishing, plays in a river, goes on a hike, plays sorry in the garage with their wife. Okay, that's just what I do. Sits on a patio, cracks a cold one of whatever it is you like to drink, sees some fireworks without starting any fires. What else? Swimming. Goes swimming to a pool or water slide, slip and slide.
Oh, yeah.
Slip and slide. That's what
Water guns.
Water guns. Yes.
When's the last time you had a water fight?
And now that you've said it, it's going to be next week because I'm going to do it.
Nice.
I might even go out and arm myself with some new fancy ones and surprise the family and turn it into some sort of crazy event.
Do they still make those super soakers?
Super Soaker is pretty much obsolete at this point, but Nerf has kind of taken over. I wonder, Nerf may have bought them. I think they're still, maybe they're still out there. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm going to go find out as soon as this call's over. I'm going on Amazon and I'm going to spend a stupid amount of money on water guns, and then I'm going to destroy my family next week.
I think that's a good idea.
I'm pretty excited about that now.
Yeah. Sounds fun.
I'm going to destroy them.
I was always jealous of the kid that had a super soaker with a backpack. You remember those?
This guy.
You had it?
I got it. It was my high school graduation gift.
Oh, nice.
I kid you not. It was one of. I got a fridge too, I think. But I got the backpack super soaker, and it was glorious. So I'm just going to rub it in your face right now. It was glorious.
Yeah, I had the green super soaker 50 when you had to really get after to.
Now this one had like a handle. You just did this, and it's
yeah, I remember those.
It was amazing. Well, we're not here to talk about just water guns, I guess, are we?
No.
So I'm actually going to kind of treat this as like an informative live today, and I don't know how much our audience or our group pays attention to everything that's going on in the accounting industry. I'm sure they definitely stay on top of the technical and some of the things, the rule changes and the ERCs and all that stuff. But I want to talk about the pipeline report today. So as by way of background, as I'm sure most people know, there is limited resources to hire for accounting firms these days. And that is a result of there being fewer students going into accounting programs and coming out of school and saying, I want to go be an accountant or a public accountant or an industry accountant or whatever flavor of accountant they want to become. And it's kind of come to a head over the last the year and maybe a little bit longer. It's really shown up. Now there's been signs for a while that this is coming. And there's two really big signs. And I'm going to get in trouble for this. But one of the signs was the way that partner compensation has been increasing versus entry-level accounting positions, salaries have been increasing.
Yeah.
I won't spoil the ending for you here, but partners are getting paid more today, percentage-wise, than staff were, say, pick a number, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, doesn't matter. This is the same answer in whatever. And the second thing that started to happen, and I might get in trouble for this too, there's a degree of just a kind of a sense of greed in the industry. And how that has shown up is a lot of the offshoring work that's being done.
Sure.
Work is being sent offshore, is being done for very, very, very minimal amounts, which allow the firms to do more they don't need resources as much because they weren't available. And now they've created this, again, kind of this greedy monster. So those are two of the signs, the outsourcing being we can't find the resources, but now it's become much more of a public issue. AICPA is all over it, of course, and they created what's called the National Pipeline Advisory Group, which for the last, I want to say 18 months, maybe 10, I don't know, somewhere around there, a group has been meeting of 22 professionals led by Jennifer Wilson, who's with Convergent Coaching, and I think they're in Nebraska. Jennifer's done a ton for the industry. She's been a consultant to the industry for years. She's worked with some of the biggest names. She's as popular as an Alan Colton or a Boomer or a Rosenberg. She's just done great stuff. And she was facilitating this group, and they spent a lot of time talking about what do we do about the pipeline. Well, about a month ago-ish, they released their report, the draft strategy report. So it's still in draft form, and identified these 6 themes that need to be addressed in order to not solve, but influence our pipeline issue. And I'll share them now. Number 1, tell a more compelling story about careers in accounting. Number 2, create a more engaging college experience for accounting majors and potential majors. 3, reduce the time and cost of education. 4, have growing support for CPA exam candidates. I don't know if I like the way they worded that, but that's what it says: growing support for CPA exam candidates. 5, expand access for underrepresented groups. And 6, transforming employer cultures and business models. So those are the guys. Those are the ones. Now I have some other. Was that?
Repeat 6 for me.
Transforming employer cultures and business models. You know, there's a really good video that maybe I'll link to it. And can you do that? Can you link to a YouTube video? You can, right?
What?
Yeah, I know I sound old. There's a video out there by a gentleman by the name of Scott Galloway. Scott Galloway is a professor at NYU. I don't know, some place where really smart people hang out.
Mm-hmm.
And Scott's an author, and he's also a social media influencer to some degree, but very smart man, very opinionated man. And he has a video out talking about, you know, the youth and the future of our youth. Basically saying that, you know, the older generations are making it a lot harder for younger generations to be successful. And if you look at who's running the country, guess what you see? A lot of older folks, right? And a lot of the businesses and a lot of the firms are being run by a lot of older folks. And a lot of those older folks are doing certain things on purpose to make it more difficult for younger generations to be as successful as they have become. And, you know, I'm not going to get into whether that's right, wrong, or not, but you should watch the video and make your own opinion.
We'll post that.
But some of that is kind of happening in public accounting. Like, you know, some of these older generations are making it a lot harder for younger generations to enjoy the profession. First of all, it wasn't 150 hours when they got their CPA exam, their CPA certificate. You know, it was normal 4 years. Now that's only popped up in the last, 25 or so. That may even be too long. You know, the salaries you'll notice have, you know, basically, you know, stayed kind of like this, while some of those upper salaries have kind of gone like this, right? Again, kind of making it harder for the younger folks to get in. They've made it so that, you know, the leverage models are different than they used to be, where it used to be you'd have a partner and then you'd have a couple managers and a couple seniors and a couple staff all doing the work together. Well, now the partners are expecting the same amount of work to be done with less leverage. There's not as many people on those levels. What am I getting to? I'm getting to this. Each one of these 6 items, there are solutions. But here's my challenge for anyone watching. There is a pledge on the website, and the website is, and we can put this in the link too, or in the comments. It's www.accountingpipeline.org/draft-report/. forward slashes. And in here, there's the opportunity for you to sign a pledge, which says you're going to do two things. And it doesn't even ask you to say what they are, but just to commit to doing two things to help build the pipeline stronger, which might be go to your high school, like go to your kid's high school on career day and talk about accounting, talk about some great things that you've done in accounting or been able to do. It might be go to the colleges and join a Beta Alpha Psi conversation, whether you're in public or private or an entrepreneur or independent, and talk about, a great career in accounting. It could be, and this one's where I come in, make it a better experience to be in public accounting. Like don't say yes to work that you don't have resources for. You start billing your clients more so that you can provide more to pay for the folks that work for you. Some of those things, but it just asks you to pledge to do two things. So I would challenge everyone that watches this. I hope for all of our sakes and for accounting's sake that you go out and sign this pledge. All you gotta do is click a button that says, I pledge to do something. And then I would challenge you to write down two things that you're going to do to help us support this effort to build a better accounting industry. That's my challenge. But now, of the six things, the one I really focus on again is the sixth one, transforming employer cultures and business models.
Yep.
Sorry to interrupt, but just a quick note, something that you may or may not know about the Practicing Accountants. We actually have a membership in which you can join us for monthly training and practice sessions and even group coaching. And if you sign up soon, you'll actually get a free coaching session with me. And we hope you get a chance to check that out. Again, that is at www.thepracticingaccountants.com. We hope to see you in the group coaching. Back to the video. So would it be fair to say that public accounting is a pyramid scheme?
Possibly.
If you think about it.
Maybe not a pyramid scheme, but maybe some sort of MLM sort of model. But
yeah. Well, it's shaped like a pyramid, right? So that kind of that's one thing,
every company,
as leverage. No, not every. There's a lot of rectangles out there.
Sure.
But in public accounting, it's very much the partners up here, and everyone else just starts filling out the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
The idea is you move up, get to the top, and retire, and then guess what? The people down here, they're paying for you in retirement,
right? And
then hopefully there's still some people down here to pay for them in retirement, and it just kind of just goes like this, right? Well, now that we're starting to see, what's that?
It's not going like that.
Well, with the lack of resources, what's happening, right? There's these guys at the top. They're like, oh shit, like, hang on a second, like, we need to figure this out so that I can get paid. And guess what they figured out? Private equity.
Yep.
We're going to keep this going. We got to change our business model. And
I've heard
the business
private equity is coming into the smaller firms a lot now, not just the big firms. Mm-hmm. They're chasing all these smaller firms because they have no exit plan.
What's happening is I've seen, it doesn't make it right. It's just what I've seen. You get one person who's got some entrepreneurial drive. Maybe it's an accountant, maybe it's not, but starts putting together little accounting firms. So it'll go out and get a bookkeeper, tax preparer, consultant, payroll, whatever, and just start to kind of batten down these hatches of something that resembles a jigsaw puzzle of firm. Puts it together, grows it to a size that attracts private equity, gets an infusion, gets capital to grow, scale, with the intention of finding another private equity investment that will kick out the first one. There hasn't been a second round in private equity and public accounting that I'm aware of yet. There's been a lot of first rounds. Baker Tilly's gotten one just recently. Grant just got one recently. Big firms are getting these infusions because the pyramid scheme is falling apart. I'm starting to sound like some of those guys I don't like. But it is, I mean, ultimately the business model just is no longer working because the leverage model is falling apart
Sure.
because of the pipeline. And in order to rebuild it, we need to create a much better experience for those entry level folks. So anyone who's listening to this, what can you do? First of all, sign that pledge. Identify a couple things that you can do to help support this industry. I think that's a great start, and I would love for you to do that. If there's anything that we can do to help influence this. Second thing, on specifically on this sixth theme, is just make it a better experience for your teams, yourself. If it's just you, like, raise your prices and fire some clients. If it's you and a team, raise your prices, fire some clients. Reduce the amount of work that you're doing and increase the amount of income you're earning. Now, I know that sounds extremely simple, and there's a lot of maybe assumption and agenda and bias that goes into it, but that's the best way to do it. I mean, if you keep bringing in new clients that you don't have capacity to work on, that's not helping them. That's not helping the pipeline. It's not helping you. It's not helping your firm. Stop bringing in clients that you have no intention of holding for more than 2 to 3 years. Stop bringing in clients that you're not interested in the work, or your teams aren't interested in doing the work.
Well, shitty experience that practice has created is what got us here.
No,
partially.
Right. No, yeah.
Because nobody, when people go to an accounting firm, as an intern, and they see how long these staff accountants are working, no one wants to do that.
But what that model did is it helped build that pyramid scheme.
Right.
Because there's always more work. So we kept hiring people, and people kept moving up, and then, it's just like an escalator. They just kept moving on up, and then at the top, people would fall out and retire, and then it would, there's more people coming up at the bottom. So it just it's almost like an escalator that kind of had like a 3D. I'm getting into geometry here. I don't need to. But start making it a better experience in your firm. I mean, that's what the practicing accountant is all about, is making a better experience. We're not here to give you leads for clients that you're going to have to fire. We're not here to give you opportunities to bring in more shitty clients. Like, our intention is for you to get the best clients you possibly can so that you have a thriving practice that you can grow and enjoy, and your teams will love, and you're going to love, and your hours are going to look more normal. I had someone in my office literally 29 minutes ago who was just asked to put an additional $500,000 onto their book of business because one individual quit. Now, that's about a 40% raise on 30-some% raise on this book of business that was already in place. And you know what they said? Figure it out.
Wow.
It's what happens. I mean, in public accounting, that is kind of the motto. We'll figure it out. Figure it out. Bring in the clients. We'll figure it out. Go sell more work. We'll figure it out. Keep building more and more and more. But and that's the opportunity. That's why I'm different than, the lead guys. That's why I'm different than some of the social influencers. I'm not trying to tear it down. Like, I want to keep it going. I just want to keep it going in a much better and sustainable way. I want public accounting to be something that students are excited to get into because they get a really high paying salary right out of school. Why? Because you've got a firm that supports it. We had a rule at a firm I was at. It was a wonderful rule. It was a 4-to-1 rule. And what it meant was the highest paid partner couldn't make 4 times that of the lowest paid partner. Now, why did we have that rule? A couple reasons. One, we wanted to reinvest in the firm. We wanted to be able to pay people and take care of people in the way that they deserve. We wanted to be an employer of choice. And so we capped it. We had partners that were much more valuable than they were being paid. That brought in the majority of the work. They were the rainmakers. They could have been paid a lot more money. But because of our rule, they weren't. But they didn't leave. They didn't leave for more money because they believed in creating an experience of working in public accounting that was worth being in. And I love that. It meant a lot to me. Another reason why is because it creates a lifestyle or an experience for the partners. because it's not always about just go sell as much as you can. It's not always just about see how much money you can make. It's more than that. We were trying to create something that was going to live a long time and create a lot of opportunity for our people. And when we made decisions, there was one question we always asked: is this a decision that will help our people be better? And if we said yes, we did it. If we said no, we didn't. Now, were there things that we did and messed up? Yeah, of course we do. That's not perfect at all. Firm's not even around anymore. The people are. Firm's not.
I think the goal is to create a firm that has an experience so good that you can attract that talent, whether the pipeline is there or not.
Right.
And why can't you do that? Pay a premium for great talent. And that requires the right business model, the right pricing, the right clients. Like you can build that still. There's still people out there that are coming through the pipeline, albeit less than ideal for the entire industry, but you can be a leader there still.
Yeah. But I think with a lot of the folks that are in our group, we're not talking about big firms. I don't think. I mean, maybe we've got some that are in bigger firms, but most of them are relatively small, if not individuals.
Sure.
Like you have all the power to create an experience in your business that you deserve and something that people would want to join you in. You're all going to come to a point where it's either, do I close it? Do I sell it? Or do I merge it? Or do I succeed it? And I lost count of what I said there. But anyway, point being, you're going to get to a point where you're going to have to figure out what to do with your business. And you can just go ahead and take succession off the table if you don't want to manage people. And that's fine. Totally get it. I know a lot of folks that they just are not interested in managing people. And it's totally fine. Okay. If not that, then what are you going to do? Well, you're probably either going to sell it or just shut it down. And what are you going to sell? Are you going to sell really shitty clients at shitty realization where you're not getting good profits on the clients you're serving? Probably not. You could shut that down pretty easily. No one's interested in buying it. But if you create a better experience and a better client, a client that's actually paying you what you're worth, the value of what you're worth, someone's going to want to buy that because it's going to have a better multiple than they usually get.
Yep.
There's a reason why the multiples in accounting firms suck. And it's mostly because they've been based off billing on the hour. The more firms are billing the value of what they're doing, the more they're value-based pricing or even subscription-based, there's a different multiple with that. Because you're doing less work for more money. And that's going to see a different multiple down the road.
You hope so.
That's the kind of experience that you can create for yourself when you get to your own stage of life and looking at your retirement or next steps. So I know I've bounced around a lot here, and I apologize for that, but I wanted to just kind of inform a little bit around this report. I would highly encourage you to check it out. I would highly encourage you to take the pledge. And then that's a personal favor to accounting. Do your best to create a better experience for yourself in accounting, and for the people that work for you.
So
that's going to be it.
This accounting pipeline association or organization, whatever it might be, do they have some influence with the AICPA, or is it a branch of the AICPA, or how are they involved?
Supported by the AICPA? And it had, of the 22 members, there was a few on there that were AICPA members, as well as a bunch of state societies were involved in it, and a couple of consultants, a couple of firm leaders, and I don't know, I'm sure there was a smattering of other things, but mostly, I don't even know if there was, there's a small or an independent accounting arm of AICPA. I'm not even sure if they had representation on that. I'd have to go and look at the roster.
Didn't the AICPA recently hold strong on the 150-hour rule?
Yeah, they're not. They're experimenting with some other alternate paths. There's a ELE. I'd have to go back and look, but they're trying different ways of doing it. Like, don't take all the classes. Start working and then take the classes while you're working to get the extra 30 hours. That's the primary experiment they're running right now, which, as most people might figure out, it's hard to work in public accounting and do 30 hours of classwork. So we'll see what the report finally says when that comes out. But no, there's a lot of pushback on, most everyone who's outside of the AICPA or a state society is saying, knock it back down to 120 hours. And AICPA says, well, if we do that, then you can't hop from state to state and do what you do because the states are going to have different requirements and you wouldn't be able to perform on your license in a different state. Which has got some merit to it. I get it. And they spent a lot of time winding this up and they don't want to wind it back down.
Isn't the AICPA partially to blame for those state requirements in the first place?
For allowing them to kind of, be the way they are, sure. Yeah. But there's one thing that stands out to me is, leadership in this and, who's really standing up and being a leader in this effort to support the pipeline. Jennifer is one of the ones that's standing up and being a leader in the pipeline. There's some contrarians out there that, are really using fear and rage farming to drive their own likes and influence. But at the end of the day, there's a lot of people in accounting. There's a lot of accounting work still to be done. AI is not going to eliminate the need for accountants and bookkeepers and tax preparers. This industry needs to survive and it needs to figure out a way. And the best thing I can think of, the best thing I can influence is the experience in public accounting, which I hope, through the practicing accountant, through this group, we're able to do.
Everything else is, as far as I can tell, with my chicken scratch here is regulatory. Number 6 seems to be the only one that we can have any influence on.
Well, telling compelling story, that's more about, getting into high schools, getting into colleges, talking about the great things that accounting has afforded a professional, a more engaging college experience for accounting majors and potential majors. That's taking those 30 hours and actually pointing it at something valuable versus go take music or go take appreciation of fine arts. And also give them, and give them some more, just good work to be doing, exciting work to be doing, talking about AI more, doing a lot more technology in school, a lot more data analytics in school for accountants, getting them more into advisory while they're in school, because that's the future of accounting. It's the present of accounting. It's the past of accounting. Reducing the time and cost of education. That's the 150 versus 120. The cost of education, I don't know what they're going to do about that. Good luck. Scott Galloway has some opinions on that one. Growing support for CPA exam candidates. I know some firms that give their staff members time to study and paid time. I think it's a great thing. I know that there's a lot of firms that give incentives for passing the exam. You get $4,000 if you pass it and we'll pay for all your stuff. Or we'll put you on a reduced schedule so you can study whatever. I think those are great ideas. Expanding access for underrepresented groups. I think that's something that's out of my ballpark. I haven't spent much time in that area. Other than I do work with a couple of schools and in underrepresented groups. And then transforming the employee culture and business model. That's where I come in. So nice. Anyway, this is a bit of a diatribe today in this live, but I wanted just to kind of be informative. I wanted to keep this group up to speed on some things. You can fact check me left and right, and I'm sure I said something wrong along the way, but the truth is, go see that report. I hope you sign the pledge, and then I hope you do what you can do to support this industry.
Awesome, man. As always, thank you.
Yeah.
See you next time.
Cheers. Thanks for watching this episode of the Practicing Accountant podcast. We hope that you have taken away a few things in which you might influence the pipeline and help get more folks into the profession and also stay in it. We also hope you go out to their website and take the pledge and commit to doing 2 things specifically to supporting the efforts of retaining our greatest asset, our people. Thank you very much for watching. We hope you share and like this episode, and please visit us at thepracticingaccountant.com. Thanks for watching.